All right, good morning traders. Welcome to the All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. We'll go through the live order flow in Bookmap is forward looking, not in hindsight, and we will look for opportunities and take them in demo paper trading mode. Not in hindsight, and we will look for opportunity. That is the goal here, and why we do this is because you can with order flow. You can understand the condition of the auction and the participants. Their behavior is what we want to read, and that's what gives us a lot of insight to where price might go next. The market is made up of orders, and that is the most important part. Without orders, there is no market. So anyway, let's jump into the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. The risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. For those of you who might be new attending, welcome. We do this. This is a foundational webinar. So I'm the lead educator here at Bookmap. So any questions that you have, just let us know. Let me know. I'll try to answer all of them and give you resources as well. Now, that said, if you go over to our Discord chat room in Bookmap, you will note there are many different presenters. So, for example, here, let me just show you. Well, you can see it on our YouTube channel as well. All the different presenters that we have. If you go to bookmap.com and you click on education here, you will also see this is the learning center. So if you're new to Bookmap in here, you know how to use all the different features and components are under this playlist or course for getting started. How to add a symbol, how to navigate the chart, etc. Right? So there's that. There's the market mechanics course. This is essential to understand that the basics of how the markets actually move. When you start to understand these details, which Bookmap can represent extremely well, and what affects price, again, it is orders and transactions. So I really encourage you to watch at least part 1 of that course. And then we have strategies and setups and getting connected, order flow. Here are all our streamers here. Okay. And then here's our calendar down here. And like I said, this is Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. East Coast time. You can come to these webinars and I will go through any questions that you have. It is a foundation. Look at all the other traders that we have in here streaming. So they have all sorts of different styles. There's different languages. There's different markets. There's stocks. There's crypto. There's futures. You might want to check some of these out here to see which ones you like and which ones you don't, etc. But they're all based off of basically this foundation in Bookmap. All right. So anyway. Just going through that with you, and we can jump into Bookmap now. Actually, we're going to go through our top-down approach, but let's just take a quick look at the order flow in the S&P E-mini right now, and see what's going on. I mean, you can see that we've been kind of inching up and inching up and inching up, and then the cash open here 9:30, and it just drops. All right, so now I have data in here since about 7 o'clock. This morning from the East Coast time here. I have a bunch of different add-ons in here. Maybe I'll take those off the chart for the moment. Hold on just a minute. The footprint chart I'll take off for the moment. We've been looking at the delta a lot. In the subchart here, I have stops and iceberg transactions. Okay, this is only for futures, but this is an amazing indicator. To be able to see those transactions of actual stops and stop runs and the relationship between that and iceberg orders, which are larger players hiding their orders from the order book. So Anyway, we also have CVD. So I'm looking at cumulative volume delta here, which actually I had reset at 9:30. You can see it here that it is reset. Anyway, just wanted to go over that here in the subchart, what you're seeing. I've also opened up the trade control panel here, this padlock, and here we can set some orders. Okay, so we're all set to go. We have bracketed orders all ready, and I have one lot selected. So we can take a look at that if we get an opportunity in here. Be looking. All right, so let's go through our top-down approach and look through the order flow. What's going on in here? So you can see already here, very interesting order flow. We see it all the time, really, but they're on the bid here. Cash open right into it and through it. What was on the bid is now on the offer. Okay, what was support here is now resistance. I don't know of anything that shows this clearer than the orders in Bookmap. Okay, this is a great thing to understand. Very simple concepts that you may have read about in books forever. Support turns into resistance, resistance turns into support. Well, here's exactly why. Hold on a minute. This thing's not working. Okay. All right, that's fine. I'll just draw from the Bookmap chart. Here is exactly why. Right here, it's these limit orders. Okay. Now, we can also go through a little bit more. As we go down here, we trade into high liquidity here. We see a bounce here. This is very typical. As we go down again, very high liquidity in here. It does transact, but there's quite a sell-off. Goes through that area, and it comes down to this liquidity down here. And trades into that and kind of bounces around in here. Note where price has returned back to. Okay, so if I clear the drawings here, look where price has returned back to. This area here where we saw this kind of jag or bump in price and then the move through it. So we see this all the time. Here's your kind of flag pattern. You see this strong impulsive move or impulse move to the bottom or downside. You see a pullback on low volume, okay, just maybe some covering or some buyers, and then these buyers get completely run over. More sellers, maybe this is profit taking here, and then we see the move to the downside. Now, what do we see down here at the bottom of the or the low here, the cash session here? Well, I don't see big sell orders down here. Okay, the red dots market sell orders hitting the bid. These are the aggressors. These are the traders that actually move price. Okay, here's another move to the downside here. And do we see big sell orders down here? No, we don't. Right? So it makes sense that maybe on the way down, well, there's not a whole lot of sellers, but there's also a lot of absorption in some of these areas in here on the way down. So we can start to understand this dynamic between the limit buy orders on the bid and the aggressive sell orders here, the market sell orders hitting the bid and driving price lower. Now here you can kind of see a little bit of a switch. Look at this high liquidity comes in at a higher level here. Okay, we can see even this little double bottom pattern in here. We can see an order flow transition right here. Okay, so you see selling on this one, retest, not so many sellers. It's a bit higher low. And then look at them on the bid here, very aggressive at a higher level. They want to be buyers at a higher level. This is the kind of context that we talk about between market structure, this move down, the aggressors, the volume dots here, understanding their appetite to take price lower, and then also the liquidity, the limit buy orders, the other side of the transaction. Okay, so we see that kind of a shift right in here. And you can see it in the dots in the color. You can see it a bit in the price action. And see how we went from downtrend to sideways to a bit of an uptrend here. And then we can also see it in the liquidity being more aggressive at a higher level, bidding at a higher level. Right, so what happened? We traded up into this high liquidity here, and we can look at the same context up here. Okay, so high liquidity filled up here, right here, right in front of us. And then how much more buying pressure was there? Well, not too much more. Look at the size of the dots. Okay, not so much buying into high liquidity as well on the offer. Okay, so if buyers can't take it higher, sellers are going to come in, and that's what we get. And we get this back and forth in here, and then you can start to read some of the look at the cumulative volume delta, or look at the this kind of transition again in here between buyers and sellers, and you start to see that okay, lower high just by a tick or two, lower low by just a tick or two, but you can look at the sellers though, and look at this liquidity in here as well. Now look at this, is a really interesting one. High liquidity here on the offer. Buyers take them on, trade into them. This transaction took place here, and then you can see though that not enough buyers to take it up to the swing high here at this point at least. And then now look at the back and forth in here. Okay, do we see a commitment on the sell side too? No, not really. Okay? In fact, more buyers here. Okay, so look at this. More buyers here. We retested here, and we're actually getting more buyers back up here on the retest. Okay, so if that is the case, then what we're looking for is more buyers to reach back up maybe to 54 up here, or 53 3/4. And we're looking for the order book also to give us insight. So we see how they're bidding or offering down a little bit lower here. Not looking for that. We're looking for them to pull this liquidity so buyers can very easily move price back up to like 53 3/4 or 54. We're looking for them to stack on the bid, and then we're looking for the potential move up here, right? Just by reading this context. All right, so let me know if there's any questions. Let me know if you guys want to look at anything in particular. Again, we connect to stocks, crypto, and futures. All right, so good morning, Stan, and anyone else over here on in our Discord channel. All right. Robert, can you add icebergs to the map? Yep, sure, absolutely. So you want to see it on the heat map? Yeah, that's so let me add stops and icebergs in the subchart here. Okay, this is my preferred. There are many different settings in here, but I really like looking at two different axes here of stops and icebergs. But I'm just looking for the relationship between the two, because here you can see a transition. Look at the stops on the way down, and icebergs actually on the way down too. Okay, so you know, that can lead to a powerful down move a lot of times. Anyway, let's add them on chart as well. Okay, and let me know. I went over stops and icebergs in detail on Friday on chart, as Crash F16 had some questions on that. All right, how are we doing over here in our move to the upside? Well, it's still unfolding, and we're not looking for much here, just a retest of the high here, and then we'll see though if we get a bigger transition that takes place. Now, when we look at the order flow in the context, what's important is the here and now is important. Okay, what's happening right now is very important. However, it is the context of everything else looking backwards here that gives us a lot of insight to the potential moves here. Like, for example, is this a potential reversal pattern? Not quite yet. You know, I mean, look at the bars down here. Now these are delta bars and these are delta dots. This is buy minus sell. Okay, so it's either going to be a green bar or it's going to be a red bar. It's going to be a green dot or a red dot. right? So actually, here we go. Now, I'm really curious. I think we should see these buyers. There's a little bit more buying here than there is selling. If that is the case, then they should be able to trade up to like 55 up here, this liquidity up here. Okay, and that's where these sellers came in originally over here and dropped price. Right, but you can see the appetite up here, guys. We just got it. Very little buying up here. Right, and look at the selling that just came in. Okay, so now we might have another shift here. Now watch this. Robert, any questions that you have in particular for better understanding of absorption? Okay, yeah, I mean the icebergs and absorption, it's a big part of it because if you see a lot of transactions take place and price fails to drop, kind of like here, well, it's because they ran into an iceberg right here. I don't know if Crash is in here today. Probably I don't see him. But see how we see transactions 63, and then the C here means canceled. So this iceberg, we don't know the depth of it, how much was really behind it. Well, we know only 63 transacted, and it was canceled. So then they pulled it from the market. That much we do know. All right, here's another one up here, but it's only 15. But see the E means executed. Okay, we know when it's detected, when other transactions take place, and if it's fully executed, we know that as well. Okay, Roku, yeah, you were the one that I was calling out on Friday that you had questions on the absorption indicator. Absolutely, sure, we can go over that. That one is included in the Global Plus version of Bookmap, so I'll go over that. So let me answer Robert's question here first about the icebergs. Yeah, I mean, we're really kind of back and forth in here, guys. We're trying to look to see who might have an edge in here. And I thought because of this, we do see a transition here, start to take place, as we mentioned, on kind of a more micro time frame, and more buyers starting to come in. And then this big transaction here is an interesting one. So we're looking for a move up into this kind of 53 3/4, 54. It did make it to 53 3/4, but not 54. And we're still looking for the possibility up to maybe 55, but some heavy selling came in and just shifted it away here. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, guys, yeah, I'm starting to see a little more selling start to come in here. Well, it's really back and forth. It's hard to read. It's hard to read right now. See the selling in here. See the buying coming back in here. Okay, so we know the overall trend is to the downside for the cash session. All right, let me continue on and answer a question on absorption. And then also we'll take a look at some stocks as well. And also maybe absorption with stocks, sweeps and absorption. All right, I'm going to take the stops and icebergs off the chart. Okay, still keep it in the sub chart here. But we're going to add the absorption indicator. All right, here we go. I'm going to use the automatic mode here. So it's a very, very simple indicator, but what it can show is pretty profound. Let me go through it. What is it showing you and how it works? Well, very simply, the settings are here. If within 0.01 seconds, the traded volume was greater than or equal to, in this case, 348 contracts. I can make it 350 here. then mark the chart. That's it. Okay, so that means that here's over 500 here, but we said 350, right? So I don't see anything else absorbed or that meets that condition at the moment. Okay, just one. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, let's take a look at some other settings in here. Okay, we can use this automatic mode in here, and you can see now I can't select. It says 351 right here, right? But it's grayed out. Okay, watch this though. If under standard deviation in terms of interval time, and then also multiplier here. So what this means is take the how to determine this number in here within 30 minutes, and then a multiplier in here. Let's bring that multiplier down to like 10, and let's see what the outcome is. Okay, now see how this number is down to 143. Well, we're going to see a lot more absorption then. Okay, this is a good way to using that standard deviation to kind of get a feel for how many absorptions take place that help you out. I mean, like maybe you want more to see more than this. Well, then come and either play around with the interval here in terms of time, or just bring down the multiplier. Let's bring it down to 5 and see what we get here. Now we're looking at 75 here, right? Okay, so we're going to get quite a bit more. Okay, so up here, what does this mean? Let's look at this number. We'll zoom in. Okay. Here, see the pink squares here and the number here. This means that that condition was met. That within 0.01 seconds, more than 75 transactions took place. So the assumption is that very quickly, a lot transacted, and it was only on one price level. Therefore, we're assuming that it is absorbed. Now, this is a really interesting one. Okay, so I have a question for you guys, Rocco, this goes directly to you. I don't know if you're a futures trader or not, but look at this here. We have a lot of absorption, but why do we not have high liquidity here on the offer? That's kind of weird, right? Don't we need liquidity? Why do we see all these transactions from the aggressors, the buyers here, and who is absorbing them here? How could they absorb all of that? Because there's very little liquidity in here. 34 contracts, 46 contracts in here. How is that possible? Okay, now I can understand it if there's a big red bar of liquidity in the heat map here, right? Here, let's get rid of the drawing. If we see high liquidity in here, it actually that makes sense. Okay, but there's something more in here, right? Anyone have any insights on this? Okay, why wasn't price able to go higher here? Why was all of this absorbed so quickly? This gives really good insight to how these markets work. This is market mechanics. No one. All right. Okay. Well, it's an iceberg. Here it is. Here. Look at the move to the downside. There you go, Rocco. Yep. This is where this iceberg started to transact. So what was absorbing in this area in here is an iceberg. Okay, they're on the offer. It's hidden from the order book in here, but it's transacting nonetheless. Okay. If we turn on the iceberg on chart, we will see it. Did I answer all your questions, Rocco? See, look where this is where it started to transact right in here. You can see the blue line, and it was for 80. Okay, 80 contracts. All right, so in essence, it's kind of like a poor man's iceberg detector, because it's really the same thing, but you have to look at the heat map. If you don't see a big heat map in here and you see the absorption indicator, really going off here, then you can probably assume, rightfully so, that it is an iceberg order. Okay, because only the tip of the iceberg is sent to the market, it transacts, and then more sell limit orders are sent immediately. Okay, very, very quickly, they're co-located next to the exchange and are sent very, very quickly to the order book. All right, so I'll take stops and icebergs off and zoom out a little bit. You can even see within the absorption, it's really back and forth right now, guys. I mean, look at it, the absorption on the bid, absorption on the offer, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so we're not missing anything in terms of opportunities at the moment. And I'm going to turn the I'll wait for your answer, Rocco, but I'm going to turn this off for the moment. Okay, just to have a clean chart. So you said, okay, just one general question with the absorption in the view of the market context. If you have large pink square absorbing on the offer, large number, does it, and price doesn't move down, is that higher probable of a reversal setup? Again, it's hard to, it gives insight that there's still a lot of buying pressure, a lot transacted, but there's a lot of buying pressure still. So you do look for follow through. Does it mean it will reverse? It means if there are more buyers, and we look for that context of the offer pulling, adding on the bid, and more buyers coming in with the green dots. Okay, so now we've had our fun in here. We made it up to 55. That's only what we were looking for now. Now look at the sellers come in. Okay, so now we're seeing heavy selling down here, right? Now we have the potential to move lower. Okay, we went up here, we tried, and then yeah, here comes our move, right? I should have jumped in on it. I hesitated on that to kind of fumbled through it, but you know, that's when we look, once we've kind of traded to the other side here like this, and we see that selling, because we're right here looking at it, and we see that selling at the bottom of the range in here, we're looking for price to press lower, because it's been going back and forth in here a lot. Now, what else would you assume in here on this move to the downside that we just saw? Any answers? I know we haven't gone through our top-down approach we usually do for Monday, but I thought I'd just jump right in. All right, well, all of this buying in here, looking for lifting the offer, price going higher, going up to 55, potential reversal, all of this kind of stuff. All of this buying in here, well, anyone who's buying in here just thinking like, yeah, I got the bottom, are getting stopped out here. Okay, and you can see it. We have the stop run right here. Pretty nice one. Okay, so again, guys, context, and these tools can help with that context. Okay, understanding the move into well, high liquidity first, and then a little bit of a bounce, right? We'd look for that. Okay, we even had our low volume pullback here, missed that one as well. All right, let's take a look at our bigger picture here, because I think we're getting close to a gap fill. It might have just filled, and we're just below the 250 level here. So we'll look at our higher time frame. We'll also look at the fundamentals. Now we haven't quite filled the gap, but we're pretty darn close. It looks like I have 44, around 44 and a quarter or something like that for a complete gap fill. Here's the daily candlestick chart on the left, and I started off kind of bullish here for the day, and traded up to the current or the previous daily swing from Friday, and it failed, at least so far. It's come down halfway at least. A hourly chart, we're just looking at that gap fill. and it, the potential double top here in the 15. You see it very clearly. This is where we gapped up, and you see immediately the move back down. Okay, so a lot of sellers up in this area, up in here. Okay, now we've had this back and forth in here, and more sellers coming in again. Let's look at Bookmap, because here we're looking for them to retest back down to 48 and maybe further. Okay, so here they come. All right, now let's look at the order book in here. And I don't know, we can maybe we can try putting an order in here, maybe right here on a pullback, and we'll see the reaction in here, see if we can grab it, because I'm not quite sure yet if the buying is quite finished in here. But we'll place an order here around this. And again, this is all in sim. It's not a trade recommendation. So just so you know, you can look in the lower right hand corner, trading in simulated mode here, so that you guys can understand, if we get into the opportunity here, we can manage it. So our education is not just about the setup, it's about trade management. Look at the icebergs in here as well, right? On a bit of a pullback here. Okay. So here we go. Let's see. Get filled in here. Let's hold off a little bit and actually move this a little bit higher. Why am I doing that? Look at the selling in here. Okay, I don't like it. This is the context we're looking at. There's not a whole lot of selling here, so buyers are likely to come back up here again. And it auctioned up here actually. So, well, wait a minute. Now, if we get a lot of buyers up in here, well, then do I really want to buy up here? Well, they're likely to press it higher here. Okay, so maybe I'll just get in front of the high liquidity up here instead, okay, and get a better price. Okay, again, context. It really it's all about the context of these players and these orders. Okay, so and then we read that kind of luckily kind of a little bit last minute, but we started to see this cluster of buying in here. We're like, well, hold on. Let's see if that buying, when does it finish, right? When will they start to finish? Well, we can look for exhaustion. We can look for high liquidity to transact if it stays in the order book. Well, let's follow along with these sellers up here, okay, around 52, just in front of them. Let's see, you have questions on liquidity tracker 3. Yeah, Rolko, no problem. You're new to Bookmap. Again, I would suggest you go to this bookmap.com and then click on the education tab, and that'll take you to the learning center. There's the add-ons in here, order flow phenomena, getting started, the markets mechanics course, also some strategies in here. That'll probably be really helpful. Another link in here, the knowledge base in here. Click on knowledge, go to knowledge base, okay, and that'll take you in here. You can read about the add-ons or the user guide or our Java API as well. All right. Okay. Let's see. Very range bound here at the moment. Another context for you guys before I answer your question on the liquidity tracker free version. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so another thing that we always look for in the order flow phenomena is who's in control in certain moves and shifts away from the market. Okay, so we noticed that earlier, all of this back and forth in here, and then the shift is here. Sellers are in control at that point. They actually a little bit higher, maybe up here. And that's kind of where we're putting our sell limit order up there. Because we're saying, well, if sellers are in control up here, they're probably going to this will be resistance. They'll add into their position up here. Okay, now we'll see what the attack is by the buyers. Okay, the buyers, they're starting to mount their attack. See them here? All right, so now let's see. Liquidity tracker free version. All right, let's go over it. Let me show it and answer your question. Yeah, here's the free version here. The difference between the free version and the pro version is you can filter it in the pro version. That's a huge thing. You can filter for the orders, right? And that makes it, that really turns it into something, you know, a lot more powerful. But let's take a look at this here, and I don't want to look at all these lines in here, so I'm just going to look at, see, we have the liquidity tracker on the ask, on the bid, and then the difference. Okay, so let's just look at the difference. So it's basically buy minus sell again. All right, so yeah, we can start to see that you know, up here, well, you know, liquidity is if we hover over it here, okay, is the difference is negative 111, and here is negative 290, right? So that means that you know, they've been adding on the offer in that liquidity tracker. So now that see them adding on the bid right here. See that liquidity tracker boosts up. Okay, there's a smoothness to this tool, but anyway, see, now they add on the offer here, and we see it kind of move back down. There's some subtlety and detail in here that you can see in the liquidity tracker that sometimes can be a little, it's not misleading, it's just that this area up here is dominating the heat map. So see the details in here in the blue? Okay, well, we can go right click on the heat map and go to settings, or we can go up here to studies configuration and heat map here, and then we can filter our heat map and make it starker or brighter to understand some of the details in the liquidity map. Okay, I usually keep it on the default by hitting restore here. Okay, more sellers back down here, guys. Is it ready to break? Let's see. Okay, that would be lower lows for the session now. Okay, well, look at liquidity tracker boosting up. Yeah, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for the opposite. Okay, starting to see a little bit more on the offer now. Okay, but look at the buying coming in here. Is this high probability? Well, selling looks good here, but look at the counter here. The buyers, not good. We'll keep away from this and keep from getting a stop run here and being a part of that stop run. Okay, our order's still up here. In fact, we're behind the high liquidity level now. Someone came in front of us right here, okay, at 51 and a half. You see a lot of questions over in YouTube. A few questions. Please hit the like button. Let us know if you like this or not. I'm going over some basics. There's you know, a lot of newer traders recently, so you know, start of the month here, I want to go through just some of the basics, and it's also a good recap for you guys as well that have been in here for quite a while. Boy, it's kind of tricky today, huh? I mean, like, just look at the back and forth in here. But we've stayed away from it because, you know, just reading the order book in here, or the order flow and transactions. I mean, great range bound activity. I would not be selling up here though. Absolutely not. This looks pretty good for a bump higher. Yeah, look at this here. Here's some, it's not exhaustion. There's some selling down here, but it's higher low. And we see a lot of transactions here. And we're starting to see buyers come in here. So maybe we'll get a move back up to the top of the range and maybe back up and fill our order here. All right, let's go over our top-down approach. We kind of bypassed all of that and we just kind of jumped into the order flow. This is a PDF we put together. It's pinned in the all markets room. So if you want to come over to Discord and get this, just very, very simple. And that is the key here. And it might offer a nice template, at least to build from, is our top-down approach here. Again, really simple, just keeping it simple. I don't know how many times I can tell you I've remade this, and the simpler it is, the better. And it works for me. So economic calendar, what's happening out there? Well, we have PPI tomorrow. We have Powell speaking as well. Market's going to gyrate because of that. Let's look at our bigger picture technicals, also geopolitical, what's going on out there. And boy, that's been kind of all over the map. But we don't see the market really reacting too much to it as compared to the economic calendar. Yeah, but keep an eye on, always keep an eye on the reaction to geopolitical events. And we don't know when those are going to happen, typically. Okay, we have our CPI on Wednesday. Yeah, we have a big week. Retail sales on Wednesday as well. All right, guys, now let's not forget our order that we placed in here. Do we want to continue to offer up here or not? Okay, so yeah, maybe we'll pull it for now, right? We'll just cancel it here, or you can use your mouse wheel as a button and click on it right here, and it will cancel it. Or you can also just click on the one limit order here, and then down here cancel. Okay. All right. Now we've gone through our fundamentals, our bigger picture. Now we're going to go through the bigger picture for the technicals. Okay, we kind of did that already a bit. We looked at the daily over here. Failed to get above the swing high. You can see the selling, it came in right away at the cash open. Now look, here's our sellers coming down again here. All right, so now this is looking pretty interesting. Sellers back down here. Now, how many times have we been down here now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5. So it's looking pretty good to break here. Now, is the order book telling us that? No, it's not. They're actually here on the bid. And then we're getting buyers here, so it's not ready yet. Okay, we need sellers. We're looking for sellers to really mount their attack here, a weak bottom here, and then have those sellers rush right through this area into high liquidity on the way down. Okay, again, this keeps us out of the trade. Okay, no one's telling us in here, or the participants aren't telling us that they're ready to move price lower. All right, let's go back to our bigger picture again. Just saw that in here on that move down, and we're not ready yet. So we're going to stay away from it. All right, hourly chart, still some momentum to the downside here. And 15-minute chart is, well, we just covered that. All right, so, and we're talking about this gap fill as well. So far as an inside day, we're all the price action is within Friday's action. So we're looking for kind of a choppy day, basically. And that, again, is our bigger picture technicals. Now, that leads us to our third element on here, outlook for the day. Start to develop scenarios. Okay, well, we're looking for sell pressure to fill the gap. And we already considered the, it's an inside day. And we're looking for kind of choppy. And then now we can start to consider some strategies in here. So yeah, we're looking for the move down, continuation in that momentum, selling momentum, but also a lot of range bound activity. Okay, because we have a lot of data later in the week. We're looking for a pretty choppy action. Okay. Now we can look at our trade criteria and strategies from the Learning Center, Bookmap Learning Center. And then also our trade management once we get into a trade here. All right, so let's go back to the Learning Center, okay, bookmap.com, education tab, and then strategies and setups in here. Very simple strategies, continuation pattern in here, and then looking at this in diagram, in Bookmap, and then also with a checklist here that you go through, right? So we've broken it down into these elements in here. Also the a reversal pattern in here. We just have the diagram form right now, schematic of what we're looking for a reversal or inverse head and shoulders pattern here. Okay, we'll be adding more soon. All right, well, here we go. All right, so now sellers, let's see. We're back to this little area. Well, we're in the middle of the range, clearly, but we can see a little bit of a swing here. And then we can look for maybe sellers in here. We can put a sell stop here. Okay, and let's see if sellers come in and now move this. Okay, so we're looking for them to trade back down to the bottom of the range first. Now, what do we have on our side here? Not a whole lot, to be honest. I mean, look at the bars, look at the dots. You know, I'm looking for sellers to really pick it up there, though. Okay, there we are. Now we're filled, and now they are picking it up. So let's now see them pick it up down below to bottom of the range, and this time we're going to look for a break of that range, okay, of this 48 level, and maybe we can come down to like 45 or so. Okay, you can see the limit buy here, way down at 44. I'm going to move it up, and let's add it to our gap fill. Okay, and then our stop is up here above this high liquidity, above 51 and a half. Okay, we're in the trade. It is in sim. Okay, it's not a trade recommendation. It is in demo paper trading mode. But because we're in the trade, now we got to manage it. So let's go through. Well, first off, we didn't have a whole lot of criteria for the setup, but we're looking for the move to the bottom of the range. That is already unfolded. We just didn't get a break of the bottom of the range here. Okay, so we'll see if we get that or not. So now, if we start to see, and buyers are starting to mount here, if they can start to mount more up here around 49 3/4 or 50, then it's time to get out of the trade, because the momentum will probably carry us up to the top of the range, or maybe up into this high liquidity up here. Okay, so why would we want to take that risk? Okay, so this is not really much of a trade setup, but it's more about the trade management criteria. Okay, and we're just going to manage this risk in here. Okay, and if we see more sellers starting to come in, pulling liquidity in here, adding on the offer in here, well, then we're going to manage our take profit and move it down to like 46 here, okay, or maybe down to 44 where we originally had it, just by default, right? 20 ticks take profit, 10 stop loss, right? So this is really about trade management. It's not really about a setup in here. Okay, well, here comes our buyers, right? This is not what we're looking for. Okay, so let's just flatten this here, and then we'll look for if more sellers come back down here, and then we'll get in. Okay? In fact, we can even consider that here with another. Oh, we're already filled. Okay, didn't like that fill actually. That came a little too quick there. Same scenarios here for me. If I see those buyers come back up here, I am out. Okay. Now we're still looking for these sellers to drop through the bottom of the range. Again, not a trade recommendation. Okay. We're going to go through the trade management. We do have some kind of in terms of a setup, boy, it's not much, but like you know, we know that the momentum is to the downside here. We saw this kind of move up into these areas here. We saw the sellers come back in, and then now we're seeing this back and forth in here, and we're looking for more sellers down at the bottom of the range here, and then continuation. Okay, so this is a continuation move we're looking for, right? It's strong move, you know, pullbacks, strong move. In fact, let's do a measured move in here. Okay, so let's take a look at, oh, I don't know, maybe the range is something like this. Okay, I'm just going to kind of duplicate that and then take this and move it over here. So yeah, maybe we can move our stop up a little, or our take profit up a little bit right in front of that high liquidity here as a measured move. Okay, another way to look at your measured moves in here, which totally makes sense, is look at this range. Let's duplicate it, and then let's take it and drop it down. Okay, so we might just get a move down to here, 46 and a quarter. Okay, so and in fact, we'll see. And if we do, and we start to see lack of selling down here, well, then maybe I'll just take my profit at that point. Okay, we're looking for the same range move in here, basically. And now also, let's take a look at where is our gap fill. Okay, well, 44 and a quarter. Okay, so yeah, we're down here. Okay, some selling starting to come in. Let's see if they can continue to drive it. Okay, what do we have in the order book? Well, not good to see high liquidity just come in and a reaction to it by the buyers, right? So it's a possible trap move here, possible. Yeah, see this, there's possible shift here by these buyers here. We'll see. Okay, back to kind of point of control here. And this is where the buyers really need to push through. Okay, any other questions? Good morning, Caesar. And let's see, any other questions over here? Thank you, Alois. So helpful answering these questions. Robert, in terms of seasonality, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I think there's, typically like huge or more volume takes place beginning of the year. Then the summers are typically quiet, and then it picks up again in the fall. But those are just huge generalizations. We've seen some summers where there's just massive volume, or a lot higher than normal volume during the summer. Okay. Buyers still fighting it down here, right? Like it went up and went down. Look at the selling down here, though. We don't really see too many avid sellers down here at this bottom of the range in here. But we'll see if we get maybe a quick, these buyers really get upended and we see the stop run here to the downside. Yeah, see the buying coming in still fighting it here, trying to get price back up above. Again, not a high priority or not a high probability trade here, trade idea. It really isn't. We're still kind of looking for it to unfold, okay, to the downside. Does that make sense to you guys? Like, the criteria that we go through, if we look at why we're getting involved in here, it's really not very good. We're looking for these traders in here to tell us this is where they want price to go, and right now it's much more about a trap move. You see the fighting of buyers, sellers, someone's going to get it wrong, and they're going to get hurt and they're going to have to exit. Okay, and where does this put us? Well, in this scenario, we just got to manage the trade. Okay, where are we wrong? Where do we want to limit risk? Where do we want to take profit? Okay, look, I mean, this back and forth in here, we should probably just get out, to be honest. But we're going to hold on and let's see if we can get down to this bottom edge again here, and then see if we can get some selling here. Okay, you can see the order book. It's still on. They're on the bid here. So there's interest on the bid. This is not what we're looking for in our context. Still more on the bid. Okay, what's the reaction? Do we get our buyers because of this bid in here? A little bit. Starting to. Yep, starting to. They're on the offer up in here, though, a bit, and also certainly up in here at 51.5. Okay, now more and more buyers here again. Okay, now sellers come right back. See the back and forth in here? Now let's see how strong that bid is now facing these sellers. Do they pull? Yeah, they're starting to pull. So these guys, they're kind of spoofing here, right? Kind of like bidding it up, right? And trying to show like, yeah, we're gonna buy. Well, look at them now. Okay, well, some of them got filled, but a lot of them also just pulled their liquidity here. Okay, so sellers now took it down below. Okay, now again, like, because of all this back and forth in here, I'm gonna look for this target here around 46. Okay, and then I'm gonna be out. Okay, we're out. That's it. All right. Now it's just it was a one lot, and we got $100 out of it. We got a couple of points out of it, and that's it. All right. So again, this was much more about the trade management than the trade setup, the criteria. Okay, but we're covering this in here again. Not to sound like a broken record, but we're covering this to go over trade management. It's such an essential part that so many educators don't go over. And since we have the context here in the order book, we're going to go over it and put some of these details together. right? What are our decisions behind some of these, some of the order flow in here? And we set up here. Well, we don't want to get caught in the trap up here by buyers, and we exited. Well, what happened? It went one tick more against us, and then it totally reversed. So we took a small loss here of about, I don't know, a point or so, right? Let's see. If I hover over here, we can use this tool. It tells me I executed my order here, that fourth or fifth line there at 49.25, and then I exited up here at 50. Okay, so a 3-tick loss, right? And then we got in here again, like a couple ticks lower, and it went against us here a couple times, and then ultimately we got the move lower. The sellers came in, and we were just targeting, because of the back and forth nature of today, we're just targeting 46, and that's it. Okay? And we'll look for something better. So that was our trade management. Right? Does that make sense? This is trade management criteria in here, and trade setup criteria is pretty lacking. But anyway, just to give some food for thought. I've heard this many times. You probably have as well. A lot of times in institutions, the newbies on the desk come in, and they just say, just go long or short. Flip a coin and just go. And why? Because it's not about the trade setup so much. It's about how they're going to manage it. I was thinking we'd do that sometime, and just for fun, put a poll out, long or short, okay, and then when, and to do a 30-second countdown or something like that, and then we'll manage it and see from there. Anyway, let's. Let me show you this. This is we'll be releasing this very, very soon. The trading journal in Bookmap. It'll be formally released, I believe, later this week, end of the week. But because I have in Bookmap, I have my, under the add-ons configuration here, I have my trading statistics here. Okay, we can open up that stat window here, and you can see my trades. Here's my running P&L and P&L for each one. And the most important for me is the MAE and MFE, how many it went for us and against us. Okay, here it went against us 4. Here it went for us only 3 on our stop out. Okay, and then again, it went against us 4 on our other trade, but it went for us 11. Okay, and then post is telling us, like, after we got out, how much more did it go for us. So we made a pretty decent trade there, trade management wise. Anyway, now this has to be open. Okay, you can close this window here, but this has to be on. Okay, and then you can sync it here with your web trading journal. So just click on this button here, and then it will pop up, and then we can log in here. Okay, and then here's our trading statistics. Now it's from today only, or I'm sorry, it's a month. You know what? So yeah, we'll go back to this one. This is the proper journal for me. I'm in a testing mode. Now you can come up here and go to different journals. Okay, a range bound trading strategy I was kind of covering last week. So I made a different journal, and here's our main journal. And we can go back, I think, to March. I have data back to like March 31st or so. Yeah, March 21st. Yeah, we can see all of our trade activity in here. But let's look at maybe last week instead. Okay, so I'll go forward here, and let's just look at all of last week here. Okay, and this is my performance. Okay, last week. So I started off, to the upside here. Now, again, these are mostly just 1s and 2s in terms of lot size. And then I dipped below 0 here, and down couple hundred bucks. on the 7th. This was the 6th, and then on the 7th here, and then we see the move to the upside, and then I got really caught up in one of those range bound strategies, and this is a $2,000 or $2,500 loss, I think, something like that. But just one big loss. Okay, big mistake on that. We can talk more about that maybe in the Bookmap Academy meeting. And then we can see that just resume our trading, and we're back. Kind of getting close to our peak here. But anyway, we have the total wins, the total losses, the biggest winner, the biggest loser. So this was my $2,500 loser. My average trades here. So of last week, look at the difference in here, guys. This is not good in my opinion. But I will say this is because I was testing this range bound strategy. These are not the statistics we're looking for and aiming for. Average winner, $88. Average loser, $271. No, well, a lot has to do with this one big loser here. Okay, but look at the profit and loss here too. 84% of the time it's a winner. Yeah, I don't want that. I actually want half of that. I want to see 40% here. I want to see lots of small losses and then nice big juicy winners. Okay, so we'll see like chop, 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 and then like nice big winner, and then like kind of chop back and forth, winners, losers, whatever, and then a nice big winner. All right, but due to the range bound strategy, we're seeing pretty high profit ratio here compared to loss. It is what it is. Until I'll have more details on that range bound strategy. Okay, so now let's take a look. We can look back now. Let's clear our drawings, okay, and look back at our trade decisions again in here. And now I hope this is helpful for you guys. You can trade any way that you like, of course, but this is one way to consider. And we're looking at a range in here. Okay, we know the trend is to the downside. We're looking at a range in here. And then we did a measured move of that range. Okay, and then we took that and moved it down. And then we kind of front ran some of that high liquidity right here. God, our range was actually more like this, I believe. I think it was a smaller range in here. Yeah, I think so. Let me get rid of this one just for the demo. All right, so yeah, if we take that one and then move it down. Okay, so somewhere around in there, it's really pretty much the same area. Anyway, we decided to front run the high liquidity. We got filled. Price went in our direction like another tick or two, and then it moved back. Now, why did we decide to do that? Okay, well, in the end, it was just a quick decision. Like, well, hold on, we're not getting much criteria in here. It's really back and forth in here, and we are looking for these guys to get stopped out. Let's take the liquidity tracker off and look at stops. Okay, so we were looking for this to be a stop run in the direction of the trade, and also this gap fill, which we haven't quite technically filled, but we almost got there. And then decided, okay, well, then I'm going to take my profit here because this is still an inside day and we're looking at pretty choppy action. Okay, so that was our decision making. So far, it looked like a good decision. Okay, now maybe it comes all the way back up here and fails and goes like, like 100 points to the downside here. Well, then, that would be another, maybe your higher time frame outlook would be, you'd think like maybe this is not a good decision, right? But if we look at the order flow again in here, cluster of buying up here above point of control, no way. I'm actually looking for just a spike up above, maybe back up to 51 or 52 in here. and all of the sellers in here. Now we know there's stops, but we're looking for stops now to hit on the other side of the range in here, potentially. Alan, you want to look at GameStop? All right. Jeremy, you don't have a rhythmic stream? Yeah, we can look at SPY. Okay, just go to DX feed, SPY. Now, this is I I know what you're getting at, Jeremy. Like, this is SPY, but and it should be the same as the S&P E-mini. It is not. This instrument is used completely differently. There's a lot of hedging in here in SPY. Okay, there's a lot of, look at the algorithmic activity in here in SPY. Due to arbitraging, hedging. I mean, this is the S&P of the stock indexes. Right, so they'll dump money in here for all sorts of reasons, and to hedge or look for small opportunities, all sorts of things. So now the S&P actually should be used that way as well, but there's a lot more speculation in here, and we can see it in the order flow. All right, so here we go. And then this is what I mean by arbitrage trading. Look at the high liquidity, very, very close to current price. And actually, I'd look for a small breakout here, to be honest, right here. And let's see if we can get a bit more buying in here. And then there we go. See that liquidity in here on the bid here. Now we just need a bit more buying, and we should get a little bit of a breakout here. Okay, maybe up to here, 40, 45. Okay, we just saw a flip or a switch. Okay, back and forth. Look at it. High liquidity on the offer, high liquidity on the bid. Both kind of banging around, transacting. And then here, we're like, well, hold on, wait a minute. High liquidity up here. Buyers starting them out, and then here's where we really saw it. Look at that. And look at the order book over here, the COB column, current order book. And look at the larger player. See this white line in here? That's called our large lot tracker. And we can tell where larger players are coming into the order book, the amount of liquidity that they have. Now, this is kind of it's an algo that we put together. And due to the transactions that are taking place, it's our kind of a guesstimate, basically. But it's pretty good. And look at the stacked book here on the bid. All we need are a few buyers, and we're looking for the move higher. Okay, and beautiful, right on cue. Right? Did you see that? Okay, so even here, Jeremy, you can see and read even at these low time frames in here, and use this to your advantage. Okay? And we're looking for the move up here to like 45. That's already unfolded. Okay, so yeah, you just about a 10-cent move up there. GameStop, huh? All right, let's take a look. AMC and GameStop, that was I don't know, it just has such a pandemic ring to it. Or Reddit ring. Yeah, I don't know, Alan, what to tell you. Like what I see here. I mean, high liquidity on the bid or on the offer. Being tested, uh, trading into and through up to 31 here. But this looks like your reversal pattern in here, and a lot of buyers in here, no doubt, right? No doubt. But we have to be kind of careful. I mean, the move has been to the downside, and a lot of times, yeah. Let me cover this. What I mean to say, and I got to use that pen tool. It's not working at the moment, so let me restart it. Okay, let's try it again. So a lot of times we'll see this kind of move to the downside, and we get a reversal down here, right? Here's your continuation pattern, and then we've seen it so many times also in the futures markets. So you kind of get this move, but we're still looking for this, right? And there it goes on cue. But why though, right? Well, it's by looking at this buying in here, and understanding. Okay, I think this is donkey faces set up here. In fact, here's your trend line, and he's looking for the 3 hits to the low, and then this move here. This is very, very typical in here. Like, okay, we got kind of a short-term reversal. In fact, this measured move probably was this even stronger here. It measures here actually, but it went up one more level, up to this 31, and then now it's failed, right? So now we're even below here, and we see some selling in here. So this is kind of the do or die here for the buyers. They really need to pick it up right here, and we need to see big green dots there. And if we do, well, then we're looking for 30, and then we still might get a reversal out of this. Okay, but a lot of times what happens is we see this, really strong move to the downside, lots of volume on the seller side, our back and forth, our measured move in here, and then it just can't continue. A lot of times we used to cover it years ago in crude oil. You'd get this move, you get a double top like this, and then it comes back down, and then just continues to sell off. And it's you can kind of see another top in here. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here in GameStop. All right, but we'll see. We need to see sellers get below this area right here. Okay, on size. Right. Other questions? And then Bed Bath and Beyond as well. Yeah. All those retail stores. Yeah, thanks, Dan. See how this is really the pivot right here? Okay, sellers below it, buyers above it. Not much of a read in here, Alan, to be honest. Like, I just don't see much. I like that all this liquidity was filled, or it looks like, and then tested up here at 31. again, we're looking, if we look at the here and the now, okay, looking kind of sitting on the train, looking backwards, right? We look at back all of this stuff in here for our trade criteria, and there's just not much. There's just not. We probably would have caught this reversal here. I mean, we do have a lot of criteria in here. If we go through our checklist, which we have the checklist up here as well, the trading setups checklist here, and we can add our own setups checklist in here, and we can see that well, this one's for a flag pattern, but like do we have enough of this? Grade it. Do we have enough of, like, strong relative volume? Grade it, as you go through your checklist. And then your score will be down here in this best if it's an 8 or higher. And then you've got your trade criteria by looking backwards into all of this order flow and transactions and market structure. And what do we have here? Okay, well, obviously we got, I don't have a whole lot of data in here, but you can see the move to the downside. Okay, and sellers. Okay, buyers come back up to where it dropped from here and tested that 31. And then, but for this reversal, that's what we were talking about. Here we had sellers, a pocket of buying. Not too many sellers, a little bit more buying. Okay, failing to get back up here, but then one more retest back down here. Not too many sellers. Here, look how the buyers took on those sellers here. Traded into and through. We found buyers now. Okay, this fits our learning center head and shoulders pattern here. Look at strategies and setups. We go to our trade criteria in here. You'll see it. Move down, high liquidity, pocket of buying. One more move lower in this case, and then we're going to see more buying in here. Okay, low volume pullback, higher low, more buying. This is where we're looking for breaking it. Okay, and then continuation, a possible continuation out of that. Here's our measured moves. Here's your setup in here. And then here's the possible continuation after that. Okay, so now that's where we didn't get the possible continuation yet. That's where it's failing. Okay, and if that is the case, then we're looking for sellers here. Just take it down. Okay, and then if that is the case, well, then that's a possible opportunity. Okay, so we can put 100 shares on it then. And then we can, I didn't put any stop loss or take profit in here, so put an OCO on it. Okay, so to sell in here, market sell, that's what I did. I just right clicked in here. Selling from, or trading from the Bookmap chart is excellent because you have the liquidity heat map right in front of you. Okay, so we're going to put our take profit down in front of 28 here and all that liquidity here. Okay, now if you want, we can limit this. Let's go take half off. We'll scroll down here. We'll take half off here in front of that liquidity. We can add another one in here. Here, let's just add it. Okay, so again, here's our sell. Here's our buy. So now we can with our trade management, we can start to. We've got a couple of legs in here to play around with. Okay, so I'm gonna front run this high liquidity here at 28.50, and I want to get filled there. Okay, on half my position. Right, my other half is down here in front of 28, and we'll see. Okay, I can move my stops and together here, drag and drop on top of each other, okay, and then I can left click hold and drag it around. going to move it down a little bit more. There we go. All right. So just looking now, we'll go through why I did that in here, but I'm going to keep this one where it is down in front of 28. Okay. Now I'm going to move look at my break even here. I'm going to move my stop to the overall break even on this position. Okay. Let's cover this in here, and then we'll wrap it up. Guys, if you like this, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, or come over to our Discord channel and ask questions. You can get a lot more out of the community over here. Thanks, Caesar. Yeah, you're talking about the massive options driving the GameStop. Yep. All right. So here, why did we decide this? Like, we're kind of front running it here. We're looking for this to break down. We jumped in, it started to break down, and then it didn't come down to this swing immediately, right? I thought we would have. We didn't. We see buying it back and forth in here. But it was this buying in here. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so we're front running at what, 659 or 60, wherever it was. And then this buying in here, well, they're going to get stopped out. So this I'm looking for, not for them to come back up and try to reach back up to, like, 29, 50 or 30 here. I'm looking for them to get stopped out here. They're trying to scoop it up at kind of and maybe in the range, but or maybe they're profit taking. But we don't see buyers in yet again. At that point, I'm going to move it down a bit more and a bit more because I know that we're likely to trade into and maybe even through at that point. So that was, again, a trade management decision based on the transactions that we saw unfolding here in real time. Okay, now let's go back to live market. Okay, so we've gotten filled here. Okay, went even through our move. Now, did we make a bad decision in here? I don't know. I don't think so. It went below. It made a swing low for the day here, in fact. But I just was in front of this liquidity, got filled, and now price is back up above where we got filled here, though. So, it's some back and forth in here. But this was our decision, okay? And we're out. 100 shares. Not a very long trade in here. Okay, want to go back to the ES? Sure. Wow, boy, I don't know, guys. Like this is really back and forth in here. Again, like, it's going to be a beautiful stop run. You can see it. It is here. And because of all that buying in here, especially this cluster in here, looking for it to go higher, and then just squeezed. How to use the checklist, Mindful Trading Club. Okay, yeah, sure. The checklist is really simple, and I would really recommend this. Let me suggest this. Go to bookmap.com. Go to the More button, and then Bookmap Academy here. Okay, under Community, Bookmap Academy, and then apply here. For the Bookmap Academy. You will apply for the Bookmap Junior Academy, actually. You can go through the steps in here and read through it. It's very, very simple idea in here. We're here to coach and mentor you as part of the Academy. And you can actually get Bookmap for free if you start to make your way up into step 2, step 3, and step 4. Yeah, read through it here. What I want to show is the Bookmap Academy here on our Discord channel. All right, so if we go over to, let's see, where is it here? Yeah, Bookmap Academy right here. Okay, This is our Bookmap Academy community, and it's supportive. We'll go through, give some feedback on some of your trading activity in here. Robbed, by the way, really nice. I really liked what you wrote in here. In fact, I put it into our insights page. Here's Crash F16 going through his setups for NQ. He's in NQ. Yeah, he's always in NQ. Alan's got his setup in here. Nice, Alan. Beautiful stuff. You saw this kind of attempt here, and they just couldn't hold, and that selling comes in. This is great. Anyway, yeah, post your content in here and get some feedback, get some coaching. That's what we're here for. And every Thursday here on our YouTube channel, every Thursday, let me show you, we have the Bookmap Academy meeting. And if you want to watch the recording from last Thursday and get a feel for what the coaching is all about, let's go to the live button here, and you'll see it here, Bookmap live coaching and mentoring, the Bookmap Academy session. All right, guys. All right, well, please hit the like button. Let's see, Tom B is up next, yeah, he'll define all those terms that you had put in there, Robert, that you're looking for. Volume profile trader, yep, that should do the trick for you. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Okay, thanks for coming. Bye-bye.